Good evening and welcome. This is Chris from T3 Handicapping. Thank you for joining us here on the T3 Handicapping YouTube page. I think we've got everything up and running and working. So welcome. Today we are going to be looking at the full card analysis from Aqueduct on Thursday, December the 30th. So let's jump right into things. First of all, if you haven't had a chance to check out our Facebook page or seen us on Twitter, or watched yesterday's video, we do have a free contest coming up that I want to make sure everybody is aware of. So that contest will be on Saturday, January 1, 2022, right as our newly turned 3-year-old horses will begin running. And we're going to be looking at the Oaklawn Park card. So you must have your entry submitted no later than 12 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. You must be 21 plus to enter, and then you may only get one entry per player. So just remember that as you're going to enter that. It's a totally free handicapping contest. You're going to be picking your top 2 selections in every race. You'll get win, place, and exacta mutuals for that tournament. And then the winner at the end, or the winners, if there's multiple, will get 1 month free on the user portal. If you need more information about that, you can certainly head over to our website, t3handicapping.weebly.com. You can find more information down in the description of this video below. You can also find more information about it on our Facebook, that is T3 Handicapping Horse Racing, as well as on our Twitter, @handicappingT3. So lots of ways to get information about that. The contest entry form is open and available, so you can start putting in your picks now. You do get to select alternates, so if you want to get your picks in early and don't want to have to worry about stuff, you can just go ahead and do that, and then even with scratches, we'll be able to update your picks as needed. So please make sure that you get involved in that. We'd love to get as many people in there as possible. Like I said, the contest is totally free to play. So let's go ahead and let's just jump into our look at Aqueduct. But before we do, I'll just take you over here. You can see right here on the home page of our website, we do have the free contest up. And then you can click right here to register. We've got all the rules describing how you gain points and things like that. And then you can click here to fill out the Google form with your actual selection. So again, make sure you do that before the card on the 1st, and make sure you do it by noon Central. Without further ado, though, let's jump into what we're here to talk about, which is Aqueduct. I'm going to kind of roll through things really fast here with our Aqueduct picks. It has been one of our more productive tracks. We really only started keeping track of how we're doing since they went all dirt. So that suggests that things are going well, especially now that we've gotten to the winter and the all dirt season. The T3 numbers really seem to be locked and loaded on tracks that play the way that the Aqueduct winter one does, which tend to be more speed favoring, a little bit tighter, slower tracks. So you can see I do have a blue line here. We do have a pick 6 carryover. So if you're a pick 6 player, you're in luck. We have that. One thing that I will point out at Aqueduct is our top selections win at a really good rate. I think we're around 46% on these top plays winning. So definitely want to keep your eye out for those. Let's just do a quick rundown of the card here. In race 1, you've got a class level 11, 6 furlongs on the dirt, projected to be a slow pace. And that's why I'm not worried about using the number 4 Brew Pub. It's one of our top plays. That's going to be my top selection as well. I will say that the one other horse that I'm kind of interested in as I went through and as I looked at things, I do kind of like the 2, and I'd probably put the 1 Boom Boom Kaboom on my C line as well. But really, I'm going to be heavily through the 4 Brew Pub. Big Little Risk is interesting as the only speed in the race. I'm just not sure it's any faster than, say, De Milano or Brew Pub. I think Brew Pub could actually be really forwardly placed. And then 1 Boom Boom Kaboom just has some sneaky stats that I think make it competitive here in this spot. But I'm going to be pretty heavily through Brew Pub. Race number 2, a class level 17 going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Once again, we have another projected slow pace, but we also do have a pretty unknown commodity here, a pretty unknown group of horses. Ultimately, when I was looking at this, I kind of just settled on a bunch of them. And unfortunately, it's nothing creative. I'm just going to take sort of the top 4 on the morning line. I do like the 2. I think the 2 Rosebug is interesting, and I like Diamond Collector. At such a short price, you're probably going to have to be either for or against Diamond Collector. I think if I were going to really isolate this down, I would just go with the 5 and the 2. Again, that just falls in line with the morning line. If you wanted to take sort of a sort of a progressive play, saying somebody's going to improve, then I think Exaltrus is interesting there as well. But it seems pretty logical. I think if you have these 4, I think you can move on. And I think in races like this, that's probably the best way to go as you're moving through the sequence. Next, we get to race number 3, which is a class level 4 going 8 furlongs on the dirt. We do look to have a little bit more moderate pace, and I really do like Quick Flash, who's a little bit of a new player in this group. I think the other one that's interesting is Top of the Mint. Now, if I remember back correctly to the past performances, this one is coming off of a little bit of a layoff, kind of a weird form cycle coming into these races that had me a little puzzled and a little bit scratching my head. So I'm going to use that one cautiously, but I do think that one is the second best horse here in this spot. And then as other horses that I thought were interesting, I do think Run for Boston. I'm a little concerned that the form is at Finger Lakes, but I think maybe has a chance here, but only on a C line. And then I would also take a shot with Kodiak Brown. I really don't care for Emperor's Cause. I don't care for any of these horses, and so I'm going to be value shopping on this one. I'm going to have morning lines, or I should say, my own odds lines on these horses. And I'm just going to be playing overlays in this race, quite simply. And I don't think there's any chance that Emperor's Cause is going to be an overlay based on what I'm projecting. Excuse me. So race number 4, we've got a class level 7 going 6 furlongs on the dirt. This one projects to be a little bit quicker up front. That doesn't seem to be a huge problem at Aqueduct in the winter. Even when the pace is a little quick, they tend to get around just fine. I really struggled with the 3 Alfie Solomons, but I do think probably that one just stands head and shoulders above the rest. I do think, though, that I would want to use another front runner with it, and that would be to use the 2 Hoopla. I do think I want that one probably included as well. Just sits in a couple of these like second place positions that can sometimes be really dangerous, and I don't trust Alfie Solomons enough based on the past performances to really see it going farther. I do in this spot really also kind of like the number 5, which is Demo Doctor. I think that one's going to be out and on the lead, and then I would be remiss if I didn't use the 4 as well. But that's kind of where I want to go. I don't love to use 4 horses in a 7-horse field, but I just don't really trust the favorite, and I think the favorite is a likely winner, so I think you have to use in all multi races. But I do think that there are some other ways you can go. I might be looking to use the 4 here as a key in some verticals. Moving on now to race number 5, we're going to go class level 13, 6 furlongs on the dirt, projected to be a slow pace. And so with that, I'm going to be looking for horses that figure to be early. And for me, that's pretty simply the 4 and the 2 and the 1 all seem to be there. Certainly, we've got a bunch of unknowns, which makes it hard. But I'm going to go with the 4 and the 2 as my top selections. I would probably use the 1 on the next line. And then if I was going to throw in one of the lighter raced horses, I would probably use the 3 at 9-2. But as you can see by the morning line, when you have all these unknowns and none of them are real short prices on the morning line, it usually suggests there isn't a lot of buzz about any of the horses in particular. Moving on to race number 6, we're going class level 7, 8 furlongs on the dirt. Moderate pace is what we have shown here. And in race number 6, I have a couple of long shots that I actually really like in this spot. So I really do like the 3, which is Air Show, rates out as my top horse by about 7 points. Figures to be fairly forwardly placed, and will get a pretty good flow of the race as they're coming for home. And then the other one I actually like, I'm going to go real deep on the board here and come down to Straight Skinny. We don't have a ton of front-running pacers. I've got El Mayor, who is a very tepid favorite at 3-1, but I'm concerned that El Mayor is not anywhere on my pace calculations, and that always just makes me really nervous. I've got this horse rated really low on my numbers as the favorite and as a tepid favorite at that. I'm not 100% sure this horse is actually going to go off the favorite, but this is one I'm going to play against. I'm not going to use anywhere on my tickets, so I would use the 3 and 8 on the A line. I think Noble Journey is in with a shot as well. And then the other horse that I'm kind of interested in using here is Rocco Strong, who I think projects to get a decent pace setup. Coming home late won't be anywhere near it early, which is part of why the horse doesn't find its way any further up on my list than that. Corkman was the one that puzzled me a little bit, just taking an objective look at things, or a subjective look, I should say, through the past performances. Nothing jumped off the page at me about that one's performance. I really feel like the 382 are the ones that I want to go with. But Corkman would be maybe the one that I feel like could beat me in this spot. Race number 7, class level 5, going 9 furlongs on the dirt. And as we look here, we've got a moderate pace. This is a tough race because I think uh, you have to look at this 5 horse field and say, okay, it's got to be the 2, the 3, or the 5, right? And it's just a matter of how the game's going to play out. I'm very concerned that Ice Princess, by Hubby Hello Money and Amity Island, I'm very concerned that they're just going to sit back and that Maiden Beauty and Sharp Star are going to be out on the front. Now, I know Ice Princess could be a little bit closer and a little bit more involved, but doesn't have the race flow that, say, a Sharp Star does. I really like Sharp Star here. And I'm going to use the 2 just in case things get a little bit merry-go-roundish on the track on the day. But if we see that it's not playing just to inside speed, then I might be more inclined to just bump the 2 down to the B line. I do think the only other one that's in with a shot is the 5 Ice Princess. I just don't love the metrics on that one enough to say I think this one's going to win. That's just the way I feel, and I could be wrong on that, but I don't want to be taking that one as the favorite at 8 to 5 or potentially even shorter. When on paper, to me, it just doesn't look like that one is quite ready to win at that level. Our last race, Aqueduct does a nice job of keeping these cards nice and tight with only dirt. We're going to be class level 15, 8 furlongs on the dirt. Going to be looking to run this one out pretty fast. To me, this is a 2 horse race. To me, it's 4 and 9. Pretty much once you get by that, I think you're throwing darts. I would maybe include the 3 as just sort of a longer underneath play. I don't really need anything more than that. The morning line suggests that the 9 is going to get just absolutely smashed at the windows. Probably true. The unknown commodity. I like my boy Colton. I think my boy Colton is one that's going to offer value, especially if the 9 gets pounded as hard as I believe it will, and as hard as David Aragona, who's one of the best in the business, clearly believes that it will as well. I just think that you've got opportunity with a little bit more experience, being in a good position right from the start, to take this one down and pull the upset. Could be wrong, but I don't think that's one that you want to leave off your tickets because there's going to be intrinsic value immediately as soon as you're able to beat Total Effort, if you're able to do so. I'm not dumb enough to let Total Effort beat me, but I think certainly this one is not invincible at a class level 15. So that's just a quick run through of the card from Aqueduct. Looks like we're going to be mostly moisture free, at least through the early part of the card, maybe catching a little bit of rain towards the end, and then that could make the weekend a little bit sloppy. But for the time being, it looks like Thursday's card actually has a chance to have a fast minimal moisture track. And then again, just a reminder, head on over to our website or our Facebook or our Twitter, anywhere that you can find T3 handicapping. Find the information about Saturday's free contest. Again, that's Saturday, January 1st. Get your picks in by noon on Saturday via the Google form. You can click right here to register. I do also have the link in the description of this video to the website. You can go there and get access to this. Go ahead and register. Get yourself in. It's free to play, and you might get yourself a month free of T3 handicapping products. So, good value there and a fun way to show off your handicapping skills for the T3 Nation. So, with that, good luck at Aqueduct or wherever you may be playing on Thursday, and cash those tickets.